Hi, this is a lab demo, a video on ERD symbols and notations that I was hoping to follow up. So this video will explain to you some of the things that we didn't cover before, such as the um, table relationships and problem with the many-to-many particularly. So when you are doing the ERD using Lucidchart, um, you can come in here, you can log in and do. I think we all created a one relationship here before. But anyway, so when you do this, I don't think I explained to you, what these actually means and very much. So I wanted to cover that. But just first thing first, let's see here. So in terms of the tables, there should be three columns. The first one is a set of keys that you can list, and the second is the column, different entities that you want to keep track of, and then the third is the data types that you want to use for each of them. So it can be integers or variable characters with the number of how many you are going to use. So you can do that. Um, each of them should have at least, uh, typically you should have one primary key for each table. There could be more, but that gets a little complicated, as in like composite keys and stuff. So, and that's the key of that particular column name that you're going to order all of items in that table. There's what's called a foreign key, and the foreign key is used um, if it is referencing an item to another table. So if this is referencing the items of this table, then it should have a key that goes back to here, and the column that it's coming from is called a foreign key, and this should be referencing based on the primary key of the other table. So same thing here. This table, the middle table, is referencing this table, and it has a car ID that is using the same name as in this table, and this should reference to the primary key of that particular table. Um, and in terms of the table relationships, there are many different table relationships that can exist between two tables, as you can see in this example here, and you would use these lines to establish them. But most common ones are one-to-one, one-to-many, and then there is a many-to-many. So I should put many-to-many. But this many-to-many is a problem, and that's the one that I'm going to highlight, in a minute. So when you see this line here, it is a one. Um, this would be many. This would be one and only one. This would indicate 0 or 1, 1 or many, 0 or many. So, and you can have these on the other side as well. But the problem with many-to-many is, like in here, it could be 0 or many. So this would be a many-to-many example. But this kind of relationship should be avoided because it gets really tricky to figure out exactly how the processing occurs. So to make it short, you need to break this relationship and put in what's called a bridge table or link table or temp table or whatever to break up this relationship and establish a one-to-many relationships uh, between these two tables and these two tables. It could be 0 and many or whatever, but you don't want to have too many like over here. So as you can see, uh, it has foreign key, primary key in the middle, but it has two primary keys because it's referencing to the two other tables. The name of this table, you can give whatever you want, but I prefer that is made up of the two tables that is linking or bridging. So maybe a better one could have been customer underscore product. Then you know exactly by looking at this table name what the other two table names are. There is a useful video since we are using Lucidchart. If you go and visit lucidchart.com, and you don't even have to log in, but if you just scroll down, it kind of talks about, we don't use these guys here for our class, but if you scroll down, there is this a physical ER diagram tutorial, and it does a pretty good job, and so that could be useful for you. A few other ones here that I listed that might be useful to you, so take a look at it if you want to know a little bit more. So this video was talking about some tables, how it is constructed, and what the relationships or those diagrams mean, and how to resolve the many-to-many. This is all covered in these videos as well. So if you want to hear it a little bit differently, then by all means visit them.